Hello everyone, this is MC Deck Discussions and I'm Abby Small, and today I have another demo play for you. I have Tigra, so let's flip over. So here's Tigra going up against Expert Sabretooth, and the first game that I played against Sabretooth, even on Standard, was pretty challenging, and so I'm anticipating that this will be a pretty challenging one as well. In fact, I thought I had lost and then realized that I had not used Sabretooth's ability here, the forced response, and ended up not losing and ended up pulling it out. So this is a pretty challenging one. So let me go ahead and, as usual, it's a demo playthrough. It's not a full game playthrough, so I'll do the initial round. And then after that, pause the game and come back. So I'll share the setup here so you can, I'll have chapters as usual, so you can skip to wherever you want. First, I'm going to share the setup for Sabretooth. If you already know that, you can move ahead, of course. And then I will briefly share Tigra's deck. And then after that, we'll get into the start of the game. All right, so let's go ahead and get the setup first. All right, let's flip this back over to the other side. So setup, put the Find the Senator side scheme into play. So that's right here. And it has Robert Kelly attached, so let me read that part too. Attach the Robert Kelly ally to it. While attached to Find the Senator, Robert Kelly is in play, but under no player's control. Okay. All right, so here's Robert Kelly attached to Find the Senator. So Find the Senator says Robert Kelly cannot be healed by player card effects and cannot have upgrades attached. When defeated, the first player detaches Robert Kelly from this scheme and takes control of it. Advance to main scheme 2A when that happens. Then flip this card and place it next to the main scheme, right? And notice it has the crisis icon, so we cannot get rid of any threat on the main scheme while this is in play. All right, so now let's get over to Sabretooth. Sabretooth, 2/2, hit points of 15. The hit points are up here, by the way, if you're not familiar with this. My hit points over here at 10. Okay. And has toughness and a forced response. After Sabretooth activates against you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Heal damage from Sabretooth equal to the number of boost icons discarded this way. All right, so let's go ahead now and share Tigra's deck. All right, so this is Tigra's Talented Tracker Team, part of the limited MCU, the limited MCU environment that I and Solo Marvel Champion have been, kind of working together with. And why don't I start by defining that just real quickly. So we're allowed to use the core set, 3 expansions, Next Evolution, Civil War, Mutant Genesis, and then these 10 female hero packs. I'm not going to bother reading those out loud. And then additional restriction, you can only have female heroes, so Tigra in this case. And then additionally, there's a build restriction for the allies. You can only have females, animals, or disposable male allies, such as Nick Fury Sr., and Professor X. So I actually have all of them in this deck. And as Solar Marvel Champion pointed out, the signature ally is allowed as well. So that's the one ally that can be, the ally is what it is. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and go through this. So you might notice it's a pool deck. However, Deadpool isn't a female hero, so it's not one of the packs. So this is really a basic deck instead. So my pool deck is just a basic deck, right? So, but that was kind of fun actually building a basic deck. I don't know that I've ever really done that, and certainly not on this channel. So for my allies here, I have, and I'm just going to quickly just name who they are. So, but also I'll put my mouse pointer over them, and you can pause wherever you need to remind yourself who they are. So we've got 3 of the Dora Milaje allies. So we have Aneka, Ayo, and Okoye. And then we have Hope Summers, who's meant to be grabbing some of those superpower cards for us that Tigra has, especially Tooth and Claw. And then we have Ironheart, Mockingbird, Nick Fury Sr., and Professor X. And then for the events, we have 3 copies of Multi-Talented, so hence the name here, Tigra's Talented Tracker Team. They're meant to be tracking or hunting down enemies, right? So that's the idea for the kind of theme of the deck. And then Multi-Talented, and one of the benefits of, or one of the things that helps make Multi-Talented run well actually are the resources. So we have the 3 double resources, but it's the power in all of us that helps make that one work well. And we have 2 player side schemes, build support and superpower training. Superpower training is meant to get Cat's Head Amulet into play as a resource generator. And build support, we have lots of targets for that. Any of these up here other than Avengers Mansion, but we do have Avengers Mansion, Dora Milaje, Helicarrier, and Quinn Carrier. All right, and then for the upgrades that I've added, we have downtime and then endurance. All right, so that's the deck. And so let's go ahead and get into the initial round of the game. All right, let's go ahead and draw up our hand size. Oh, let's flip back to Alter Ego. Right, and I'll just mention this real quickly too, right? Greer Nelson has a recovery of 3 in Alter Ego here. Has the police trait. Undercover work is the ability, action, search your deck and discard pile for a copy of Hunted and add it to your hand, limit of once per round. All right, let's go ahead and draw up our hand. And oh my goodness, we got all 3 Hunteds into our hand. So what I am actually going to do is for sure, I'm going to get rid of one of those. So no matter what, I'll be able to add another card to my hand. So let's tell you what else I would like to do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep what I have here. So let's go ahead and use Greer Nelson's undercover work ability and grab this Hunted. And then we will spend 2 here plus a Hunted in order to get Io into play. Right? Io has this response. After Io uses a basic power, resolve the special ability on another Dora Milaje ally. So right now, her own special does no good. And then I'm going to use this Hunted to actually play Superpower Training. And then we will use this Hunted to grab a minion. So let's check out the minions. Boom, minions. All right, so I am going to go with, we're going to go with Toad here, right? Toad has a forced response after Toad attacks and damages a character you control. Discard 1 random card from your hand. All right, let's do that. And then Hunted says on it, as an additional cost to play this upgrade, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion and put it into play. Engage with you. Notice it's put it into play. So this if it were when revealed, but it's not forced response. So it doesn't have no impact there. Attach Hunted to that minion and stunned. Notice it has this interrupt when attached minion is defeated, ready Tigra. And it doesn't matter how they are defeated, they just have to be defeated. So let's stun them and shuffle up the encounter deck. And let's flip over and see what we're going to do on this side. All right, I'm going to get this superpower training going here as soon as I can. So let's go ahead and do 1, 2. So get rid of 2 of those, each of them thwarted. Okay. And so Io takes consequential damage. And then that's it. Let's ready up and draw our hand size. And okay, lots of promise there. Let's then, yeah, I don't mind that at all, even though it's all allies. Oh no, there's multi-talented there too. Okay, so, I forgot to flip this over. Let's flip that over. This has a forced response. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, deal 2 damage to Robert Kelly, 3 damage instead if there is at least 6 threat per player here. While Robert Kelly is attached to Find the Senator, treat his text box as if it were blank. I'll show you the text box right now. So this is blank right now, but it'll matter once we have basically brought Robert Kelly into our side of the player board under our control. So the first player controls Robert Kelly. He does not count against your ally limit and cannot have player cards attached. Forced interrupt. When an enemy resolves an undefended attack against you, deal that damage to Robert Kelly. So we have to be very careful about that. For the most part, we're going to want to be defending with either an ally or with Tigra every single round. All right, so let's start. Let's add 1 threat here onto Sabretooth, and then let's deal 2 damage to Robert Kelly. Okay, it's hard to see, I know, but right here, there's you can see 2 damage on there. All right, and Sabretooth is going to attack. Again, he has this forced response where he heals himself, so we're going to have to discard 1 of these cards. Okay. It is a response, so I'm going to be discarding that right away once I decide if we're going to defend, and I don't think we will. We're going to go ahead and take this first hit. So he's attacking for 2 plus this one, and I'm going to discard this right now so I remember to do it. Okay. Okay, so he's attacking for a bunch. Okay, so 2 plus the 3 here, so he's attacking for 5. So we take 5 damage. So that's a pretty good hit right off the bat. And then we also discarded this for the forced response. And there are 2 icons here, so he would heal for 2, but there's no healing to happen. Notice we do still, whether he can heal or not, right? After Sabretooth, it's a forced response, so we must discard the top card of the encounter deck. Right? All right, so let's go ahead and discard that card. And then Toad would attack, but he's stunned, so let's unstun him. And then let's get our encounter card and flip that over. And the villain schemes. Okay, so that could make things a little more dangerous here very quickly. Let's see what we get. So he's going to scheme for 2 plus this boost icon. We are going to have to discard a card again for the forced response. Okay, so I'm going to just do that now. And that's going to be 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So we're up to 5 now. Okay, so that's pretty bad, right? Because what is this again? After resolving step 1, deal 2 damage to Robert Kelly. So it's going to be 3 damage instead, because next time we go on here, it's going to end up being, it's already at 6 right now. So, oh, I'm sorry. It was 2 plus 2 is 4. No, we're at 5, but we'll be at 6 next time. Okay, so we gotta, so that could be dangerous. Okay, and let's see, go ahead and he heals up for 2 because of discarding this card, but he's got no healing. So discard that. Okay. All right, and that's it for the advance. So we did already get rid of an advance, so there's something to be said for that. Okay, so that's it. So that's that first round. I do see some real decent possibilities here, right? We've got Professor X that we can play. We've got Nick Fury, right? So we can start making some real headway on this, find the senator and to be able to get Robert Kelly on our side. So we'll see what I actually decide to do with that, but those look like the best options to me right now. But I'm only going to be able to play one of them for sure, because they're all pretty expensive there. Okay, so I'm going to pause, and then after I'm done pausing, I'll come back later in the game and update you on the board state, and then continue playing. Oh, one last thing, I will at least show this part, right? So we do have Tigra's ability, right? Let me just put some markers so I remember, right? So on the hunt, first of all, each minion with a copy of Hunted attached loses guard, right? So that I think is possible in this, maybe, I'm not sure. But on the hunt, response after the player phase begins, draw 1 card for each minion engaged with you to a maximum of 3. So we do get to draw a card. So let's see what happens with that. I'll let you see what we draw. We get Quinn Carrier. Okay, interesting. All right, but let's go ahead and, like I said, I'm now going to pause, and we'll be back later in the game. I'm going to unpause here for just a little bit for a quick update, because I want you to see how this part works in case you haven't played against Sabretooth ever or in a long time. So what I'm about to do is remove the threat from Find the Senator, and I want you to see what happens when that occurs. So I'm going to remove the threat with Nick Fury Sr., taking consequential, so remove that. And then when defeated, the first player detaches Robert Kelly from this scheme and takes control of him. So let's do that right now. And notice he currently has 3 damage on him. So I'm going to take control of him. I'm going to put him right over here next to Tigra. Okay. And then advance the main scheme to 2A. So this advances to 2A. Oops, I flipped it over instead of advancing it. There we go. All right, so 2A, when revealed, deal each player a face-down encounter card. So we're going to grab that. Okay. And then also flip this card and place it next to the main scheme. So this is really the main thing I wanted you to see. So flip that over, and let me put it, I'm actually going to put it right here. All right, so what this says is Robert Kelly cannot be healed by player card effects and cannot have upgrades attached. And then there's this hero response. After your hero defends against an attack from Sabretooth, spend 2 resources of any type, ready your hero. Only the player who controls Robert Kelly can trigger this ability. An important ability, this saved my last game that I played. If it weren't for this ability here, and I'm just going to put 2 markers on it to kind of draw my attention to it. But that did save me from losing the previous game. Okay. All right, let's then flip this over. Okay, so when this is completed, you defeat Robert Kelly. Note that that is the losing condition of this game. So let's look at Robert Kelly. The first player controls Robert Kelly. He does not count against your ally limit, right? We said that already. And undefended attacks are going to hit him directly. So he's only got 4 hit points left. Okay. But if Robert Kelly leaves the game, the players lose the game. So those are the 2 ways it could be defeated, really, is either directly attacking, getting Robert Kelly directly attacked by not defending for him, or if this busts, then it's going to defeat Robert Kelly and we'll lose the game that way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and unpause again, or pause the game again, and then we'll be back, later in the game as we make some more progress here. Okay. Right now, I want to try to get rid of Avalanche for sure. So maybe I could just show that real quickly. No, I don't want this video to go too long. So I'm going to pause there, and we'll be back later. All right, so let me go ahead and update you on the board state. And what just occurred is I just defeated the second stage of Sabretooth. So Sabretooth is now in stage 3. Okay, and when that happens, so Sabretooth now has Retaliate 1 and Toughness, and has this same force response as before, where he heals up after his activation. Currently, there's 4 threat on the scheme, and it has an acceleration token. So that's a pretty dangerous thing, and we can't do anything about it right now because there's this side scheme that has to be defeated first. And when it is defeated, Sabretooth will attack us, whether we're in hero form or alter ego form. Okay? And then he has 1 attachment that gives him +1 to his attack, and he has piercing, which doesn't matter at all against my deck. But I can spend 3, of the different resources to discard this. Okay? And this environment's still in play. Let me put it back to where it usually is. Okay? So this is the environment that where, or if I defend against an attack from Sabretooth specifically, I could spend 2 resources of any type to ready my hero. Okay? All right. Okay, so that's that part here. On my side, I have cat-like reflexes, which doesn't do a lot of good, but it can at least help when I do defend. Okay, when you would take any amount of damage, discard cat-like reflexes, prevent 3 of that damage. Well, I guess if there's any other damage dealt, I can take that damage instead of Robert Kelly, right? Because it's only when this force interrupt, when an enemy resolves an undefended attack against you, deal that damage to Robert Kelly. So it's only damage from undefended attacks. Okay. And then we do have Sharp Claws out, and we have these 3 allies, Mockingbird, which is why he was stunned, but he's not stunned any longer, but he is confused. Okay. Nick Fury Sr. and Hope Summers. And then we have Avengers Mansion, Cat's Head Amulet, Quinn Carrier, and Helicarrier, so 3 essentially resource generators, and we have Precinct HQ as well. Okay. All right, and over here, so if we look at our discard pile, you'll notice we don't have any advances. Okay, and then what we do have is no, and we don't have any of his. He has this like 3 copies of this other card that activates him, and that's either activates him as an attack or activates him to scheme. So those 3 cards are extremely dangerous. So he's got basically, that kind of capability throughout the game. Okay, and he has been dangerous. Right, this has been felt like a really exciting, dangerous game throughout. It may not look like it based on what I have set up, but he's been bringing it for sure. Okay, now it's his turn. So let's get started on his Sabretooth's turn. Okay, so he's going to attack. Okay? When he does attack, he's going to discard a card here. But first, I'm going to go ahead and defend with Nick Fury Sr. Okay? So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attack, defeating Nick Fury Sr. And he's going to heal for 3, but he already has all 18 of his hit points. That's how many hit points he currently has, because we did just defeat his other side in the previous turn. Okay, and then let's get his encounter card. And that brings out the Hood. All right, who has Steady and Villainous. Okay, and we could ignore the rest of this at this time, it looks like. Okay, my turn. First, let's use Tigra's ability. On the hunt response, after the player phase begins, draw 1 card for each minion engaged with you. So let's draw a card. And let's draw a card with Avengers Mansion as well. Ooh, a second Tooth and Claw. Oh my goodness. Can we defeat him? The hood does not have a guard. 18 points of damage. If we can play both of these, that would be 16. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we should be able to play it too, I think. So let's go ahead and do this. So that's amazing. All right. So we're going to use Cat's Head Amulet. It's going to be worth 1 because of the hood. And then we'll do 2, 3, 4, and play the first Tooth and Claw. We're going to do 4 damage and 4 damage. Oh, he has a tough. Hold on. All right. Not yet. Let's attack with Tigra, who does have sharp claws that can let her gain piercing. So she's going to attack for 3 points of damage. Oh, we also have endurance on us, by the way. So attacking for 3 points of damage. 1, 2, 3. Oh, discarding the tough status first. And now Sabretooth is down to 15 points. And now let's do this and finish the game. And then we'll just kind of see how many points of damage we can do at the end. So that'll be 1, 2. Oh, actually, I'll use this one. 2, 3, 4. And Tooth and Claw does 4 points of damage plus another 4 points of damage. Oh, I spent 4. I only need to spend 3 because we reduced the cost to play this event by 1 for each minion engaged with you, so it actually cost 3 instead. So I spent 3 on that. This plus the double that I got rid of. So that's 4 points and 4 points. So that's 8 points of damage, bringing down to 7. All right. And then we'll spend, let's see, we can freely get Ironheart out, so I'm going to do that. Boom. Okay, and we drew a card because of Ironheart's ability. And again, this costs 1 less, so it only costs 3. So we're going to spend 2, 3, and get out Tooth and Claw. And so that's going to deal another 8 points of damage. So now we've done all 18 points of damage plus 1 extra. So 7. So I'm going to put an extra. Do we have negatives? No. Okay. Extra 1 on top of that. So we've done 18 plus the 1. And if I had been paying attention, I could have gotten an extra sharp claws out, but we'll just get Moon Knight out. That's even better. Okay. Oh, can't do that yet. Let's attack with Mockingbird. Do 1 more point of damage there, defeating Mockingbird. And then now we'll use this. I'll put that back. There we go. Now we'll use this sharp claws to play Moon Knight. Moon Knight has to get out minion. Let's see. Do you have Quick Strike? No. Okay. All right. So after Moon Knight enters play, search the encounter deck as a sharp pile for a minion, put it into play, engage with you, stun and confuse that minion. Okay. So we'll go ahead and attack with Moon Knight as well, do 2 more points of damage. Attack with Ironheart, deal 1 point of damage. And then attack with Hope Summers, dealing 2 more points of damage. So we dealt 18 points of damage because that's how many Sabretooth had to begin with, plus an extra 7. So 25 points of damage to end with. So I wasn't expecting to suddenly end that so soon, but that's the advantage of having a deck with card draw, with Tigra drawing her own cards and, things like Ironheart drawing them as well. And, we had Nick Fury in here too. Okay, so that's the game. I hope you enjoyed this demo to see what this deck can do. You didn't get to see the most exciting parts, actually, when we were getting attacked, because like one of the cards that did come into play as a treachery for Sabretooth was that card that lets where he attacks plus all the minions attack. Let's find that real quickly. Gang Up. Right here. Yeah, Gang Up. So the villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. So we had to defend, against 2 minions as well as Sabretooth. So I had to make sure to defend with Tigra so that I could use Protect the Senator when Sabretooth attacks. So I could, pay 2 resources and ready Tigra to defend against that, and then be able to defend against one of the minions that was out, and then the other minion still was able to deal 1 damage to Robert Kelly. So Robert Kelly got all the way up to 7 points of damage out of the 9. And then we also had 2 cards in a row. So the one mentioned. Let me go back to these treacheries here. Here it is, Unrelenting Savage. So he drew 2 of those in a row to attack me twice in a row with that as well. So definitely, Sabretooth is very dangerous. It's easy to forget just how dangerous he can be, and you can really lose at any time against him. So it was definitely an exciting game, on my end, and but you did get to see, this deck can really be built out quite well, and then we can do that big damage, that burst damage that Tigra can do again and again, and even very effective in what is, a basic deck. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you appreciate this kind of content. And I like chatting with people in the comments section. Have a great one, everybody. So feel free to comment there, in other words, in the comments. Bye, everybody.